guys, it's Shayla again from Freckle Finance, and it is pretty much tax season here. I'm not sure officially if it's considered tax season, but taxes are due in the US on April 15th. And so I thought I would do a little video on how I'm doing taxes this year. If you're new to this channel, make sure you click that subscribe button below. I upload videos on personal finance, financial independence, and lifestyle videos. So first of all, I wanted to go over kind of what is included in our taxes, and that will help give the explanation on why we do our taxes the way we do. So we don't have extremely complicated tax. I am not making any money off YouTube. I do not have a green card. I cannot even make money off YouTube if I wanted to, but even so. So we don't have any self-employed income, which is usually business income, and self-employed income is usually like the hardest income, the hardest tax to do because there's so many random benefits. So we do not have that. We do have a 401k, and we have investments outside of the 401k, and we own a home. And those are like the basic items. And my husband's the only one that works too, so we don't even have like a lot of income sources, just what he brings in from his job. So, and also when it comes to the retirement savings and investing, we have not withdrawn anything from our 401k, and we haven't sold any of our investments except one that I bought and sold very quickly for like a $5 profit because I bought the wrong thing by accident. But aside from that, so like we're not having tons of purchases throughout, and even if we were, we still have to gather all that information for a tax professional anyways. So we are actually going to be using a tax preparation software. First of all, I have been doing my own taxes in Canada for years. We did our own taxes last year, and we had to get my ITIN number, which is a number for someone who is in the States, who is residing here and needs to send in their taxes, but does not have a social security number. So that would be me. I don't have a social security number. And so we actually we had to go in anyways, and they reviewed our taxes, and we did it all correctly. So we have a bit more stuff this year, but I'm pretty sure we can handle it. And yeah, we've never had like major issues whenever we've done our own taxes in Canada. We didn't have any issues last year here either. In fact, generally we have had more issues when we've actually used a professional. So that kind of sets the stage for why we're just going to buy a tax software, which is cheaper anyways. Specifically, we are going to be using TurboTax. I have no like brand preference for what tax software to use. We've never even used a tax software in the US, and in Canada we always used a free software through, I believe, H&R Block, but I don't know if that happens here. But either way, basically we got like a really good deal on TurboTax, so we're just going to use it. TaxAct and TaxSlayer are both free to use software. As well, if you make under $54,000 a year as a family, you potentially could qualify for a volunteer, probably I'm assuming who works for the IRS, to review your taxes for you in person. But it's not a guarantee at $54,000. I tried to do a quick lookup on why some people wouldn't qualify, and it didn't specify. Maybe it's just if you're certain types of like maybe the way you're getting your income is what would disqualify you. So I would assume for the most part, if you are employed by an employer who's paying into the taxes regularly, like every paycheck, that you would probably qualify if you made $54,000 a year or under. If you are new to paying taxes, or you're not very familiar and you're uncomfortable with even using tax software, which are really quite user-friendly, and they usually have like a list of what documents you think you're going to need for your taxes, and often I will click on documents I'm unsure about and then find out later I don't need that document, just to be on the safe side. And I would recommend that if you are going to use this tax software to do that. However, if you're really not comfortable, hire a tax professional. I wouldn't go to something like H&R Block. Those people are not well trained in the tax software, and they honestly they're not well trained in like the Tax Act, and they pretty much use software themselves. So if you're someone who's considering something like H&R Block, like just buy tax software and do it, because that's all they're doing, and that's like doesn't leave them really any much better. I know, especially in Canada, because H&R Block exists in both Canada and the US. I knew someone who worked there, and he made like $12 an hour. Like, it's not some like prestigious job. I don't think that there's high qualifications for it. But if you are in need of of tax help, do hire an actual tax professional and do reviews and try to get references from your friends. We had a friend who hired a tax professional. He paid a lot of money for him, and his taxes were very similar in complexity to mine and my husband's, and it wasn't done properly. And he spent, you know, over $1,000 on this. So, I mean, you have to make sure that who you're getting is good. I don't think you need, and I went over this last year or the last time I did a video on taxes, I don't think you need to hire the professional every single year. Ask them questions, figure out what it is that they're giving you, what benefits are you getting, what documents are they filling out, record this, and so next year you can just use a tax software yourself and you should be able to do it free or very cheaply, depending on the factors and what software you use. However, if anything changes, you become self-employed or anything like that, do look into getting a tax professional once again to refigure it out. I just don't think that a tax professional is necessary every year, especially if you're not self-employed or earning self-employed income. So I know a lot of other YouTubers have said that they hire a tax professional and that you should always do it, but a lot of those YouTubers are making money on YouTube, and there is definitely a benefit for them to have someone else who understands the tax code and all the deductions for self-employed. But definitely if you're not self-employed, I do not think you need to hire them more than once, and ask questions. And if they're not willing to answer questions for you, I think, what are you paying them for? You should get your money's worth and figure out so that you don't have to do it again next year. And lastly, if you do hire a tax professional, just make sure you look over the documents before you do submit them. Our friend that saw the errors, he actually was reviewing it and found them himself. It wasn't getting info back from the government, like the IRS, telling him that. So definitely still review and see if you think anything seems fishy, and if you do, try to get them to correct it for you if you don't know what to do, or at least have them update the documents so that you don't have to pull up a whole other thing to do yourself. So those are basically the main options for what you can do for tax time, and I think it's a personal decision based on your family and your needs and what type of taxes you are filing in the first place, for what way you do your taxes. So I don't think there's a one size fits all. As with everything else in personal finance or finance in general, there's never a one size fits all for every family. So it can vary, but for us, we are using the tax software TurboTax, and we haven't done it yet, but previous years, whenever I've used a tax software, it's taken me like 15 minutes to do my taxes. So it's not, you know, I put it off and then I do it and I'm like, oh, okay, done, we're done. And that concludes my video. Let me know in the comments down below what way you're planning on doing your taxes. If you hire a professional, why do you hire a professional? And if you use a tax software, why do you use tax software? I like knowing other people's opinions and perspectives, because there could be something I'm missing and maybe I should be hiring a tax professional. But as far as I can tell so far, I don't think that we need to. And remember that no matter what your financial situation is, have a great day. Bye.